Hello and welcome to Clash of the Dice. I'm James, and this is a series of videos in which I look at an Age of Sigmar model kit in the context of the game Warcry. So by that I mean I'm going to look at which books you'll need in order to use that kit in a game of Warcry, what you actually get in the box, and what fighters you can build from the contents, and then a judgment as to whether or not I think it's good value for money for Warcry. So far we've looked at a kit for Destruction, we've looked at a kit for Chaos, and we've looked at a kit for Order, so now we're looking at a kit for the Grand Alliance of Death, and I can't not do the Start Collecting box for the Flesh Eater Corpse, because it's quite possibly the best value for money box that GW has ever made. Ever. So what do you get in the box that makes it such fantastic value for money? Well, you get 2.5 kits. You get the full Terrorgheist kit, you get the full Crypt flayers kit, and you get half of a Crypt ghouls kit. And by half, I mean in the full Crypt ghouls kit you get twice as many sprues. So you're only getting half that, so it's technically only half a kit. But that's still enough for 15 models for Warcry, and there's so many options just from the Terrorgheist kit and the Crypt flayers kit alone. So what I'm going to do is look at each one of those individual kits and work out what we can build from those kits. Now obviously, being a Death faction kit, the rules for it are going to be in the Bringers of Death book, but put a pin in there because we're going to come back to this when we talk about the Crypt flayers kit. You will of course need access to a copy of the core rules, and the Tome of Champions updated a lot of the points costs across all factions, but you can go on to the list building tools on the Warhammer community website and use the Warcry Varenscribe page, which has got all of the updated and current points costs for every single unit that is usable in Warcry. To start off with, we're going to talk about the Crypt ghouls section of the kit, simply because it's the easiest. Now obviously from this kit you can make some Crypt ghouls, and there's enough parts there to make 10 of them if you really wanted to. But there's two leader options you can make from this particular kit, and that is the Crypt Ghast Courtier and the Crypt Ghast. Now the Crypt Ghast is basically the unit champion. The Crypt Ghast Courtier is a hero model in Age of Sigmar, and it's made from this kit. Now then, this is where it's probably the only downside to this kit, because a Crypt Ghast Courtier is supposed to be mounted on a 32mm base, and you only get one 32mm base in this kit, and you're going to need that for the Abhorrent Ghoul King when we start talking about the Terrorgheist kit. So yeah, you will have to get yourself an extra 32mm base if you want to make the Crypt Ghast Courtier. And the chap in the middle of the screen there with the skeleton riding on his back, that tends to be the model that most people use for the Crypt Ghast and the Crypt Ghast Courtier, and you only get one of that particular sculpt. So technically you can make the Crypt Ghast Courtier, but you have to be a bit selective with how you do that. So moving on to the Terrorgheist kit, this kit has got a lot of options. So the main ones we're interested in though is you can build it as a Terrorgheist, or you can build it as a zombie dragon, and you can also build an Abhorrent Ghoul King. Now the kit does allow you to put the Abhorrent Ghoul King on one of those two dragon-esque creatures, but you can't use it like that in Warcry. You can use it in Age of Sigmar, you can't use it in Warcry. There are no rules for mounting an Abhorrent Ghoul King on a Terrorgheist or a zombie dragon. Now, Terrorgheist and zombie dragons are gargantuan monsters, so you can use them in your warband, as long as your opponent is okay with that, because they are pretty powerful, so you kind of want to have mutual agreement on that. But they can also be used as chaotic beasts, so anytime you get a twist that allows you to use chaotic beasts, there's an option to include one of these things in it. And yeah, going on a giant monster hunt through the 8 points, going after one of these things could be quite interesting. Now, the Abhorrent Ghoul King model itself, when he's on his own, like I said, you get a 32mm base, and that's basically what this is for. It's for the Abhorrent Ghoul King, standing on that big derpy rock. When I built mine, I did not standing on the massive rocks. I just didn't think it looked right. You do get some spare sort of little bones in the kit, so I strewed a load of little bones over the base and then stuck the Ghoul King onto the top of that. So there are other options you can build from this kit. You can build a Vampire Lord on a Zombie Dragon or a Terrorgheist, but again, not playable in Warcry. So these are the main things that you can build for Warcry. It's either of the two giant beasts and also the Abhorrent Ghoul King himself. Now then, this is where it gets really complicated, because we're going to talk about the Crypt Flayer kit, and there are so many options you can build from this kit. Starting things off, you can build 3 Crypt Flayers, and from the 3 Crypt Flayers you can build one of those as the unit champion, which is a Crypt Infernal. And there's also a hero version of a Crypt Infernal called a Crypt Infernal Courtier. So straight away there's 2 different leader options you can build there, or just the standard Crypt Flayer. Those are the ones with the wings on the top left of the screen. On the top right of the screen you can build them as a unit of Crypt Horrors. They basically think they are knights because they're a lot bigger than standard ghouls, and the way they rationalise their heads being so high up is they think they're riding horses. That's how they rationalise their heads being so much higher up than standard Crypt ghouls. So yeah, you can build them as Crypt Horrors. And again, they have got a unit champion, which is a Crypt Haunter, but there is also a hero version of a Crypt Haunter called a Crypt Haunter Courtier. So another leader option. Crypt Haunter Courtier is the one in the middle at the top, by the way. The one with looks like a Crypt Horror with kind of like a bat's head. But then in the middle at the bottom, you can also build from this kit some Vargheists. Now these are from the Soulblight Gravelords list, and again you can build them as Vargheists, or you can build a leader option from them, which is a Vargoyle. So what's that now? 3 fighter types plus 5 different leader types. So many different options you can build from this kit. 5 leader options and 3 regular fighter options. Now bearing in mind you do only get 3 models in the kit, so you will have to be selective as to which ones you make. And also, just to clarify, you do only get parts for 1 leader model. So whilst there are options for 5 different leader models, you can only build 1 of them. Now remember I said earlier you can find all of the rules for the Flesh Eater Courts in the Bringers of Death book. Well, if you're going to build the Crypt Flayers as Vargheists or a Vargoyle, they are part of the Soulblight Gravelords faction, which used to be Legions of Nagash. Now there's rules in Bringers of Death for Legions of Nagash, but in Tome of Champions 2021 they updated all of those stats and all of those units for Soulblight Gravelords and reprinted them in Tome of Champions, and some of them are very different. So if you want the rules for Vargoyles or Vargheists, you will need Tome of Champions 2021 to use them with their current stats. Now you will also want a copy of Bringers of Death because of the fated quests if you're going to be using them in a narrative campaign. So summing up, there's just so many options to build from this kit. Like I say, it's probably the best value for money kit that GW has ever made. If you're playing Age of Sigmar, most of the start collecting boxes for Age of Sigmar get 300 to 400 points in a start collecting set. There's about 750 points in this start collecting set. I bought 3 of them, so I've now got a Flesh Eater Courts army that's over 2,000 points just from 3 start collecting boxes, and pretty much any unit you can use in Age of Sigmar you can get from this one kit, with the exception of the Archregent and the Endless Spells and obviously the Throne. But in terms of the key units, this is what you need. And in terms of Warcry, plenty of models you can use, plenty of options available, so many options available. Like I say, just from the Crypt Flayers alone, 5 different leader options, 3 different general fighter options. It's fantastic. It is not a direct only from GW kit, so you can buy it from other retailers. If you want to buy some of the individual things, like you want to buy the Terrorgheist set, that is a GW only kit. You have to buy it directly from GW if you just want the Terrorgheist kit, and that on its own is £40. Whereas you go to a discount retailer, for an extra £15-ish, you can get this and you get all those other models thrown in. So absolutely fantastic value for money. So that was that. Thank you very much for putting up with my name dribble. Thank you very much for watching. Please continue to like, comment and subscribe, and if there is a kit you want me to review, please put it in the comments below. But until next time, thank you and God bless.